Hello traders and Market Club members everywhere. Adam Hewison here, and we're looking at a chart that has too many indicators on it. I think most traders make a mistake of using too many tools to make simple decisions. And the point I want to make is if you keep it simple, you get a much clearer picture of the trend. Let me give you a good idea of that. This is Apple. Our trade trends are plus 90, so we know the trend is positive there. So let's just tick those off. We don't need those. Then let's go to our on-chart studies. Let's take the simple moving average off. Boom. The exponential moving average off. Boom. Bollinger, parabolic, linear line regression, Donchian channels. And if I just put this chart on like this, I scope it out further, I could ask a 5-year-old which way the direction of this line is going, and a 5-year-old would just simply say it's going up, period. And that's the challenge. We tend to overthink these markets a great deal, and we've all been guilty of it. Don't think it's just you, we've all been guilty of it. But the idea is to keep things simple, because simplicity wins out in the long run. So here's Apple. Let's just take a quick look at the trends we've been talking about. We've been bullish on Apple for quite some time. If I put our monthly in, we have to go all the way back to $60.53, right back here in August 5th to be exact, at $66.53. You see that number there? That matches the number right up here. In our last weekly, if I put that in, came in right here at 102.38. All of these positions profitable right now, and that's the thing. We didn't do anything else, nothing complicated, no moving averages, no MACDs, just simply utilizing the trade triangle technology that's at your fingertips every day with Market Club. Let's move on. Facebook, I'm going to close this in really close because I want to show you we've had a sharp downturn in Facebook. This is when they came out, they're sort of slowing down. What's going on? Well, here's the reality. The major trend, even with that pullback, is still positive. And this may be an opportunity to pick up this stock at a reasonably good price, looking for it to move back over $80 or even up to $100. I think how we close today, if we close in a very tight parameter right here, right towards the highs around 75, I think it's definitely worth buying and putting a stop just below the lows of today. I think we'll see a bounce back up regardless. Allergan is a stock we talked about, symbol AGN. It's plus 100. You can see it's doing very well today. But this is in a billionaire's portfolio. It represents 35% of his portfolio. So we're talking a lot of money in the stock, and they're in it for a reason that perhaps you don't know, and I certainly don't know, but market action is telling us it wants to go higher. We think we'll see this over $200 a share, and it's a very low risk trade in my opinion at the moment. Watch the trade triangles though. You can see 166.62 is our last buy on a weekly, 174 on a monthly, which is right here. So we've got some nice profits in this position. Alibaba is another one we like. We talked about this before. We don't have a lot of history on Alibaba because it just did an IPO earlier this year. But we're looking at a signal on a weekly at 90.90. And the market's moving up very well. We thought it would go over 100. It certainly did that. I think it could still go higher from where we are right now. Now, crude oil, we've talked about crude oil in the past. It's just that simple, kind of going nowhere, waiting for it to break out of that box either on the upside or the downside. But right now, it's really not that interesting. Minus 85 indicates that the trend is still very much on the downside. We talked about this before. Don't try to buck the trend. The trend is expensive, so the trend is down. And it won't change until we see something dynamically move outside of this box. That's the bottom line. It has to really sort of reverse back up, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Gold has come down further than we expected. You see a nice pullback here way beyond the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. Still a mixed bag there. We've got our weekly is up, indicating the trend, at least in the intermediate term, is still positive. Very, very short term, it's negative. You kicked in at $1,223.45. So market's a little bit below that, actually quite a bit below that, about $20 below that point. But the point is, if I just put the triangles in, boom, you can see it's right here. We had a signal one day to be a buyer, the next day was to get out, and that produced a very small loss. So let's move on. Here on the Dow, we had a weekly signal today, and that indicates that the market's in a trading range. You've got a mixture between the weekly and the monthly conflict. You have a conflict between the weekly and the monthly, and that's not a good thing. You want to be on the sidelines here. Same with the S&P 500, weekly 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and it looks like it wants to go higher, but I prefer trading some stocks as opposed to these indexes. Same with the NASDAQ, huge comeback. I mean, this is really very, very sharp. Biggest move we saw last week for a long, long, long time in the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at how we find good stocks. We want to go to our Smart Scan. Click here. Here you have Smart Scan, and I'm going to go to look at my 52-week highs. Okay, so 52-week highs, 334. We have 52-week lows, 225. Well, this is more weekly highs than weekly lows. So let's take a look at that. So we'll scan it. It'll give us a big, big picture of what we want to do. So we chose that. 334, way, way too many for us to look at. So let's just do equity again, bar charts, last price. Let's put it less than $20. That's going to sharpen it down. And we want to see a volume over 2 million. And we want to just look at U.S. exchanges. So let's scan that. So we have 334. Takes us down to 4. Much, much better, much easier to understand. So we scan this up, and you can see this is an interesting stock, Radian. Not familiar with the stock. RDN is the symbol. It's up a little bit today, but look at this formation. This is really, I like those formations. And look at this Teco Energy. Look at this pivot point right here. Boom, went up. I think these two stocks could do very, very well. So let's take a look at, if we just look below 50, less than 50, scan. So remember we had 4 less than 20, and we have 18 less than 50. So here's a good one too. Here's Radian Group again, came back. Still a good stock. Let's see what else you see here. Electronic Arts looks good. I like that formation. Clear sideways, boom, breakout to the upside. Northeast Utilities looks good. That's moved down a nice pattern. So you have a lot of opportunities to find stocks that look really, really good. Now, of course, with our trade triangles, they're going to show you what they are immediately they happen. Now, there's a good one. There's the power shares, pivot point, boom, new highs. So that's how you find winning stocks. One of the ways to find winning stocks on Market Club. Hey, we've taken a long time today, and we appreciate you spending it with us to watch this video. Every success in the future using Market Club. I'm Adam Hewison. Be sure to leave a comment below or to like us on Facebook or Twitter. That's it for today. Have a great trading day, everyone.